got, Jeff?
Yeah, Marquette's offense. I mean, they got not everybody shoots it very well, but it looks like they can score from the outside, inside. When you study what teams need to do to try to slow them down, what are some of the things that you see that they do well that have caused problems for teams so far?
Well, they have really good players. It starts with that. Terrific point guard, Cullen. Cam Jones may be the most improved of the group. And obviously, Iguodaro presents a challenge in terms of how he can play. He's almost like a wing, minus three-point shooting, but how he puts the ball on the floor and how he makes decisions in some of their get action or dribble handoff stuff that they do. So it starts with that with players, and I think also their ability to score in transition. That puts some pressure on you that way as well, and with a lot of guys who can put the ball on the floor. Then you surround it with Joplin that can knock down threes. Cam Jones can knock down threes. Bullock's obviously shot it well too. Maybe hasn't taken the volume that those other two have, but just the constant pressure to put on the paint. I think that's one thing that jumps out.
I mean, you're talking about guys who can break down, dribble and kick it.
Yeah, driving kicks, and even Iguodaro with his ability to play in some of those dribble handoffs and keep it. The size and the mobility that he has with his size is unique. So, it challenges a lot of your defensive concepts and your rules to make sure you stay, follow the rules and not get out of that. You veer from that, obviously, with any good team, they're going to find a way to make you play.
They take real good care of the ball, but Virginia's another team that everybody has the ball, but not just. Is that a good jump off in terms of a team that you're able to, create some difficulties without causing turnovers, I guess?
In terms of us, what's the context of your question?
Just, you played a team that doesn't turn over the ball very well.
Very much. Yeah, I mean, they have done a good job of taking care of the ball. I mean, I haven't studied the numbers that in depth. I've looked more at their pace and then where they get in their shots from. So, yeah, they do. And it starts with point guard, and then Cam Jones. I think it's 19-3 or 19-2 on assisted turnovers on the year. So that tells me they're making good decisions. And not that we are necessarily built or are schemed to extend and have people produce a lot of turnovers. We're more trying to force you into more difficult type of shots than maybe creating turnovers out of our defense. I think from that standpoint, their ability to take care of it, that's one of the things we try to emphasize here as well. And when you do, you get more opportunities offensively versus if you're throwing it around the gym and handing it to the other team, it makes life a little harder. Nick?
Most of mine have already gotten answered.
Okay.
Guys can handle being moved to the bench in a lot of different ways. All the success Connor had as a true freshman that came his way so early. How have you just seen him kind of handle that move? Obviously, the injuries played a factor in his minutes, but when it comes to showing up here day to day and doing the stuff you ask your players, how have you kind of just seen him handle that move?
Yeah, I think he's, I don't think it was just through the course of practice through the fall. I think it became pretty obvious what our best lineup was to have on the floor. And to have a guy like him that can bring some scoring punches, we get him into a rhythm offensively, I think only makes our team better. So I don't think it was that much of a surprise to those that have been inside these walls every day and watched practice and how guys performed. And I think, like I said, when you have a scoring punch like that you can then bring in, and a John Blackwell and guys that have really given us a boost off the bench, it just makes our team better.
Was it a conversation you needed to have with him, or is he the type of kid where you just don't worry about his mindset?
You go through practice, and I think it was pretty obvious who were going to be our first five, and that was really was that simple.
You mentioned him playing on Scout. I mean, obviously Scout brings out, for some of the guards, obviously a little bit more of a loose mindset, but he's obviously loose when he gets into the game anyway. So, I mean, how does he play on Scout, and how is that sort of bringing
in terms of Connor?
Yeah.
Well, I've got him over there just so he can get more reps, and get more of a rhythm. I think that's helped him, from a conditioning standpoint, to get more of a run. And then I platoon him back and forth. I bring him over. So he's getting a high dosage of volume right now, along with some extra shooting workouts just to get him back into a groove that we know he can be at.
This isn't Shaka's first run in this rivalry, but still, you guys go head to head beating Wisconsin. You guys, can you kind of elaborate on, if you guys have a relationship too, and just in general, you guys again being Wisconsin.
I see him, I see him on the road now and then, but we don't. He's got a program to run, and I've got a program to run, so they're primarily, on the road recruiting, more in the off season probably, run into him. But it's good for our state, regardless of who the two coaches are. And I think late Saturday morning, the state of Wisconsin and basketball in our state's going to be on the national spotlight. So it's when you have two good teams and two good programs, I think that really helps promote the game in our state. And I know there'll be a lot of you're always trying to help those that are going to come after you in terms of promoting the game and helping the younger generations continue to grow the game as it has over the last several decades in the state. But I think there's for us, and I'm sure Shock would say the same thing. Yeah, it's a really important game because it's both of ours next one, and then they'll move on to whatever's next as they go into the Big East, and we'll jump into the Big Ten and keep moving forward. But yeah, it'll be I'm sure a great environment here, as it always is, and we know we're playing a really good team and looking forward to it.
In terms of the types of wins that we get over this next 3-game stretch, is it hard at all to not think these games as grouped together, or how are you going about it?
No, it's not hard because I have enough to do with just worry about Marquette. It's not hard at all. I'll have enough when we get to Michigan State and Arizona. So yeah, I know what's coming, but the only way you approach them, regardless of who it is, it wouldn't matter if it was, you pick any three teams out of a hat. Our approach is always the next game, preparing, getting ourselves better, and how does that apply to preparing for the next opponent. So I think that's any other way would probably be very foolish to try to approach it than one game at a time.
Safe to say you're probably not thinking about how outcomes can impact you, I guess, going forward.
No, you're worried about the process and how you can play every possession. If you play the possessions well enough, your outcome will take care of itself. If you don't, you won't get the outcome you want.
Greg, how is Stephen continue to grow and kind of show some of the capability we talked about earlier this week as a passer, and just how is that so important against a pretty aggressive, certainly successful, versatile defense like Marquette?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with him, as I talked about Monday night, is the aggressiveness and the mindset to have the mentality to try to dominate. Now, whether he dominates in terms of his own production or demanding the ball inside, getting himself in position, getting on the glass. I mean, that's all part of that aggressive mindset that we've continually encouraged him to have and to grow and to become more consistent with. And when he does, you can see, how good a player he is. And that's what we see behind closed doors that you guys don't get to see every day, how good he can be. And now you got to go do it consistently when the lights are on. So anytime you have a guy that's that big and can pass like he can and has such a great feel for the game, now you're trying to get him to have that little meaner, a little more dominant in terms of his mindset, and he's getting there. He's definitely taking steps forward, and he's got to keep pushing forward because he's got great challenges coming in front of him.
Because players aren't robots, they can have a game where they're not at their best. Can you see early in the game if he does not have that feeling where he doesn't have the dominating mindset?
Yeah, you see do, and yeah, there is some. There's times I can usually figure out pretty quickly, where guys are, and sometimes there's an aggressive play that's made that doesn't get the result you want, but that's okay because he's aggressive. It's when we're a little passive and we don't finish like we could, or go as strong as we could, or grab a rebound like we could. It's yet encouraging to be more aggressive, to be more physical. Usually with that will come better results.
Coach, what have you seen from major scores since those shots allowed on his defense and what he's brought to the team?
I think they're all getting better. I mentioned that today to him in film, that I think he can help us take this team to another level as he becomes more and more sound on both ends of the floor. And I think his first basket of the game was on our clip tape today for Monday. Just how he played off 2 feet, used a pivot, took his time in there, and defensively I find him less and less, compared to 4 to 5 weeks ago. I see him, in the right position, maybe not always doing the right thing. I'm a pretty tough grader when it comes to that. He wouldn't want me in class. in college, I would have made you really work for your grade. But I find him in the right position and attentive to do the right thing and understanding. And I think that's all it's taken for him is to get reps, to understand how we teach and why we do what we do. And as he continues to figure it out, I think he just is going to continue to grow his game by leaps and bounds and become much more efficient. You see how Tyler goes 5 for 7 and Steve goes 5 for 6. It's just that type of efficiency that I'd like to have all of our guys play with. And as he adds some of those other components to his offensive game, sometimes it's not always about how fast you go. It's about the efficiency within your movements. And for him, the more efficient he can be, he'll be that much more effective because of he does a lot of things you can teach. Now, if he can add some of those other pieces to his game, then he really helps himself and he helps his team.
You don't talk about him attacking the rim more than necessarily setting the three. The dunk he had down in Florida, gave you guys a 2-point lead, respecting the production. Is that an example of he could have launched a three, but instead he's like,
He's not the only one we've talked to about that of driving those punch drives and that when you have an opportunity, but he picked the right time to go do that.
Talking about AJ, and when you talk about efficiency, are you happy that he's being more aggressive necessarily? Do you not worry about the results?
That he's being more aggressive?
Like that he's attacking the rim a little more?
Yeah, I want him. I want him to get to the free throw line. He should be. I've always told him he should be shooting 8 to 10 free throws a game. So. But attacking the rim is one thing. Attacking the rim with what purpose and what are you doing? Are you just throwing the ball up at the rim and flying out of bounds, or are you actually drawing contact and finishing to the backboard or finishing above the rim? So there's a difference. There's attacking the rim, and then what are you doing once you get there, too? And the efficiency of you can attack it and miss a lot of shots, but you attack it, get a three-point play, get fouled, shoot free throws. The efficiency, the production is what we're trying to get. Helping him with that as he continues to grow his game.
You mentioned individuals wanting them to foul a little bit less. At the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, foul too much.
Fouled a lot. What stood out about that, I guess?
Well, 4 times we fouled jump shooters. So that's 7 points because one of them was we fouled a 3-point shooter and gave him a 4-point play. So yeah, just we don't need to reach in and swipe down on a shooter that we forced into a tough 2. And in the case where John fouled the 3-point shooter, it was a complete. AJ went to gamble for a steal, and John's caught on the backside having to guard 2 people. So we can't go roll the dice on trying to sneak around somebody, and that we put our teammates in jeopardy with that. So that's just simple things like that, and not slapping down. Not we undercut one shooter. We walked underneath him when he was in the air. So just those things of simple. Keep your hands up. Keep your chest on them. Don't walk underneath them. Don't reach when you got him into a tough shot. Make him have to hit the tough 2. So just simple things like that. That will help. Foul 4 less shooters. That takes about 8 to 10 points off the board.
Speaking of AJ, just a few weeks ago you talked about how you kind of wanted him to improve as a passer out of the post and things like that. What have you seen both in practice and in games?
It's a work in progress. Yeah, we've made some advancements, but we've got to continue to help him, understand the importance of angles and distances and those things, and the zip that you have to put on a ball. And I think we've tried to encourage, and we've done a lot of passing drills to help him with that. And he's getting better. Like I said, I have noticed drastic improvement, but there's a lot of things I see in his game that he can get even better at, and that's going to make him a terrific player.